the most tremendous new musical experience you can have.
Alright, what's up, y'all? It's Logan, and I'm here giving y'all this review to this newest Amine album called Limbo. Now, this is Amine's first release since 2017. You know, he's been an extremely consistent artist, not so much when it comes to releasing music, but when it comes to the quality of his music. Really chill, really relaxing vibe, really easy to listen to. He can have some really good lyrics. But the problem with his previous works is that it's not always as focused, and, you know, you have more standout moments, not so much like an overall cohesive album, although generally speaking they are still really enjoyable and really good. Now, getting into specifically this one, it clocks in at 14 songs and 44 minutes, and it was the only thing that came out this past weekend, so I let it sit for a little bit before getting a review out. You know, I've listened to it quite a few times now, and then even after getting done listening to the whole thing, I've gone back to my favorite songs, and I mean, I gotta say, I really enjoyed this one. The pros, again, his relaxing style, that's really easy to vibe with. You know he has a good flow, and again, he comes with some good lyricism here and there. I think this is the perfect length for a project of his. It's not too short that it ends leaving you wanting more, but not in a good way. You know, where you aren't really as into it as you could have been, but it's also not too long because, I mean, with him, his style, his gimmick could get a little old if it were to go on for an hour or for an hour 10 or whatever. You know what I'm saying. So I think that having it right at 44, 45 minutes, that is the perfect length for him, just so you can get into it, enjoy it. You get the meat of what he's going for, but you don't get too much to the point where you get fed up and bored with it. On top of that, the features, they are consistently really good. He really impresses with those, like his ability to choose good features, and then also for them to stand out and perform well as well. And I will talk about those later whenever I'm going through the tracks that stand out. And then, of course, like I said, he has some sneaky bars. He has some sneaky good bars here and there where he just shows off his lyricism. Now, if I'm going to talk about the cons, again, this is very similar to his previous work, and I'm going to specifically compare it to something that came out earlier this year. I found a lot of similarities with the Coda the Friend, that album, Everything. But it's not as good as that album, you know? Like I said, really easy to vibe with, really fun to listen to, and it's not that comparable to it, but there are so many similarities with just the vibe that he's going with and the sound that he has that I can compare the two, although I prefer the Coda album. On top of that, it's just not an overly focused project, and the front half is very clearly better than the back half of this album. There are still good songs on the back half. It's just once you get past Pressure in My Palms, it kind of takes a downturn. You know, songs like Riri are still good. Becky is a really good song, but not as good as the songs that I have to note here at the beginning of the album, starting with Woodlawn. Woodlawn, I love the flute line going through the beat, really chill song, and it also shows love to the people that influenced him, specifically giving a shout out to Kobe, which is awesome because the next track after this is a skit titled Kobe, where he talks about how, like, hearing about Kobe's death, how he was, like, raised watching Kobe. Of course, he's only, like, I think he said 26 years old, and just the death of Kobe made him realize, like, wait a minute, you know, maybe I do need to wake up. Maybe I need to start learning what it means to be an adult because life is short, you know, stuff like that. I mean, this is one of my idols, you know. I feel like I'm talking more about more of the skit than I am this song, but this song is really good lyricism showing the influences on his life. Good topics on that. After that comes Roots with Jid and Charlie Wilson. And Jid, again, who usually has a really unique, fun flow, but with an occasionally, you know, grating, annoying voice. I'm not going to say that in a bad way because I really enjoy his sound, but he does a great job of, like, toning his voice down a little bit, going with his more relaxing vibe that you could hear a lot more on, like, the Dreamville record. You hear that sound here to fit perfectly with Amine because, again, if he had gone with his more, like, sounding like Kendrick type voice, you know, it wouldn't have worked as well with the sound that Amine goes for. But they do a great job of showing off some chemistry for a really good song. Not exactly my favorite song on here, but again, just having a feature like that, Jid being a larger name now, and both of them performing well, that always means a great thing for me. Now after that, the next song I want to talk about is Compensating with Young Thug. This is one of the singles, and again, I don't normally listen to singles. I did not hear this before the album came out, so hearing this in the track list as it was intended, it worked really well. Again, another song that's easy to vibe with, and you know that's always a great thing when Thug's involved because he's going to get his perfect, smooth, crooning style going like he does on here, and it just brings the song together perfectly. I actually heard and read that Thug was eating chips during his recording of this verse, which I think is hilarious. If you listen to it, you can't tell. So, I mean, but that did actually inspire multiple listenings just to see if you could hear, like, anything different. But no, this song works really well, though, I will say that. And finally, my favorite track on the entire album. Love this track so much. Pressure in My Palms, featuring Vince Staples and Slow Tie. The beat is very eerie and dark, where you can hear they're saying, like, pressure in my palms over and over. And it has a solid bass line. Again, there are some really good one-liners all throughout this track, and Amine stands out the most. Now, you're considering Slow Tie. He is an up-and-coming UK rapper who had a really good album last year with Nothing Great in Britain. And then Vince Staples, I mean, his name speaks for itself at this point. And yeah, Amine's the one that comes out with the best verses on here. And there's also a great beat change about halfway through the song after Vince and Slow Tie's verses. The biggest downside to this is that Slow Tie has an extremely minimal part. Like, he's given like two to four bars, and then Vince is given the rest of that verse, so he even has a small part, or so it's dominated by Amine. So that's why it's so important that Amine does have a great verse on this one. But I love this song. I've come back to it so many times. It is such a great instrumental, and then the verses on top of that are really good as well. So this one, definitely the best track on here. I could hear arguments for other ones, but just in my opinion, check this song out if you don't check out the rest of the album. However, getting to my conclusion, I am going to recommend you check out this album. This is another solid entry into a very consistent discography. Yeah, he has no classics up to yet, but he is consistently getting better and better as he goes along, and I think he has the potential to put out something that could be groundbreaking. Now, I do believe that will require him to focus up his work a little bit more, but he has the potential to do that. He is an artist that you know you can expect more from. However, if he consistently puts out work at this level, at this quality, you know, maybe you could wish, if he's not putting it out at a higher quality, he could put it out at a higher quantity that keeps up the quality. But regardless, he has the potential to drop something better, but you're not going to be upset if he continues dropping stuff at this level. Again, there are parts that could be better. It could be more focused. It could have more of a message behind it, but I'm not complaining. I'm not putting this in contention as one of my albums of the year or anything like that. It's not that good, but it is one that I'm going to come back to, and it has plenty of songs that I'm going to come back to. Really easy to listen to, really fun. Dropping in the perfect time, August, right at the end of the, right close to the end of the summer vibe time frame. Not saying that we won't get albums like that later in the year, but dropping it now is the perfect idea. While people can still drive to the beach wearing masks, you know how it is. So overall, I really enjoy this one, and I am going to go with a very solid 7.5 out of 10. That's just my thoughts on that one. I'm definitely going to come back to this one, and I recommend that y'all go to this one as well. A lot of stuff that you can enjoy here. I can almost guarantee everyone will find at least one thing that they should enjoy. It's just in my opinion. That's all I got to say, though. Make sure you hit that like button, comment, sub, hit the bell next to my name for notifications. Share this video so your friends can check it out. I appreciate y'all watching, and I will hit y'all up next time.